All right, let's get into this. Tariffs and why your next gear purchase might cost a whole lot more than you expected. I know. Tariffs aren't exactly the sexiest topic, dude. But when they start jacking up the price of literally everything we love, suddenly it's personal. Guitar players are potentially about to get hit hard. Now, where this all starts, tariffs matter to guitar players. So here's the deal. Tariffs are basically extra taxes on goods imported from other countries. Governments slap them on to protect domestic industries or as a response to trade disputes. Sounds like a bunch of political noise, right? But in reality, it means companies pay more for materials and products, and they pass that cost on to us. And guess what? The guitar industry is heavily dependent on imports. If tariffs hit major manufacturing hubs like China, Indonesia, Korea, and Japan, that means almost every major guitar brand is going to have to raise their prices to stay profitable. Which guitars will be affected? Now, this is a great question, right? I mean, you know what? On one hand, maybe this will encourage more people to buy US made guitars. That doesn't mean that there still might be some additional cost. Now, if you just think about cheap guitars, if you think it's only going to affect cheap guitars, think again. Because you know what? What used to be inexpensive imports, the prices of import guitars have already risen to the point where sometimes you could almost pay the same amount for an import that you would be for something that was made in the U.S. Here's what we're looking at. Fender Mexico. The Player Series is one of the best values on the market. But if tariffs extend to Mexican imports, those guitars and Mexican-made Fender products will see a jump. Now, it seems like as of today, and today is a Monday that I'm filming this, Monday, February 3rd, it seems like a little agreement's been worked out, bypass a tariff for about a month. So if you're looking to buy something from Fender Mexico, from the Player Series, or maybe one of those amps or something that's built over there, which is the EVH and the Charvel stuff is all built in Mexico, maybe now's the time to buy. I don't know. You'll have to see. We'll have to just wait and see. Epiphone, China and Indonesia. Those are the places where a lot of their products are built. Epiphone has been killing it lately with high quality guitars. But if costs go up, suddenly a $700 Epiphone Les Paul might be pushing $1,000. Now, Epiphone already has guitars that are, floating around $1,300 and, right around there. So they've already gone up considerably in price, but this could make them go even higher. Now, another company that might be affected is the PRS, the Paul Reed Smith and their SE guitars. These are largely made in Indonesia and sometimes China. These are some of the best gigging guitars for the money. But if tariffs hit, their affordability takes a huge hit. Now, they had just come out with the guitar that I had demoed on this channel. It was a satin finish PRS, SE guitar. It was $499, and you could see the prices on what was a very affordable, very giggable guitar. You could see those prices going up as per the rest of the line of PRS SE guitars. And like I said, man, they are some of the best, most affordable guitars out there. Now, Ibanez, they don't even, as far as I know now, they might have a custom shop or something in the States, but as far as I know, All of their top of the line Ibanez stuff is made in Japan. They also make guitars in Indonesia, and they also make stuff in China, from what I can tell. Now, whether it's the prestige models from Japan, which is their top of the line stuff, to their budget guitars from Indonesia, Ibanez fans could see price increases across the board. Now, we just saw Ibanez put out some very affordable AZ models at the recent 2025 NAMM show. Some really cool guitars at floating right around the price of $549. Very affordable, very good looking guitars. But you could see those prices going up if tariffs are put in place. Now, Gretsch has been known to make guitars in China, Korea, and Japan. Gretsch Electromatics and Streamliners are killer for the price. I've got one here, and I've also got a Gretsch Japan that is it's an amazing playing guitar. Here, I'll show it to you. One of the nicest guitars I own. It's a made in Japan Gretsch. And, something like this, I think this went for about $2,000. Well, you could see something like this go way up in price if tariffs are put on Japan. Now, I don't know if they'll put a tariff on Japan. Now, Gibson USA and the custom shop, you think that Gibson wouldn't be affected because they're made in the U.S. But hold up. They use imported parts as far as I can tell, and materials, wood, hardware, pickups, parts for things. I mean, it would be hard to find any product that's every little single thing from the wire to, nuts and bolts and everything else that would be 100% U.S. made. So there's a good chance you could see even USA made instruments go up. If you don't agree with that sentiment, hit me up in the comments, and hey, maybe they can seek out parts that are 100% made in the United States. Now, it's not just guitars. Everything will cost more. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, fine, I'll just hold on to my guitars and not buy any new ones for a while. That's cool, but you're not out of the woods, because everything you use to keep playing is also getting hit. Strings, most major string brands source material overseas. Some are fully manufactured outside the U.S. Prices could jump significantly. Cables, picks, and accessories. Even small things like cables, straps, capos, they're mostly manufactured overseas. Expect price hikes. Pedals, Boss, Strymon, JHS, TC Electronic, Walrus Audio, and many more brands use components from overseas. Even if the pedals themselves are assembled in the U.S., the cost of circuit boards, transistors, and other electronic components will go up. Amps, Marshall, Orange, Blackstar, all made in the UK or China. Even Fender amps rely on imported components like transformers, speakers, and circuit boards. Higher tariffs equal higher amp prices. Replacement parts and modding. If you like swapping out pickups, tuners, or bridges, get ready to spend more. Companies like Goto, Wilkinson, and Floyd Rose are all based outside the U.S. Now, how will this change the guitar market? If these price hikes happen, we're going to see some big changes. Used gear prices will skyrocket. Well, hey, that's a good thing for us collectors, right? If new guitars become too expensive, the used market will explode, just like it did during the pandemic. Good luck finding a deal on a used Epiphone if new ones are unaffordable. More interest in American-made gear. If the price gap between import and American guitars shrinks, some players might start looking at brands like Heritage, Novo, Collings, and G&L instead of mid-tier imports. Boutique builders could suffer or win. If the cost of components goes up, boutique builders might have to charge even more for their already pricey guitars. But if players decide that a $3,000 Sir isn't much more now than a 2500 PRS SE, it could boost high-end sales. Budget players will get hit hardest. The people who rely on sub $1,000 guitars are the ones who will feel it the most. If a Squier Classic Vibe jumps from $450 to $650, that's a huge deal for someone just getting into guitar. What can you do? So how do you deal with this? How do you deal with it? Buy now if you've been holding off. If you've been eyeing a piece of a guitar or a piece of gear, you might want to pull the trigger before price increases kick in. Stock up on essentials, strings, picks, cables, stuff you know you need, dude. Dude, you're gonna need strings, bro. You might want to have a couple sets laying around. Maybe grab a few extra packs, dude. Consider USA-made gear. If tariffs make imports too expensive, you might find better value in American-made guitar and gear. And I think this is a huge benefit and one of the things that you can look at as a positive. Making, USA-made stuff more popular because it's now at a competitive price point with what's out there. That could be a positive. Now look at used gear now. If prices rise, used gear will follow. Finding a good deal now could save you money later. So here's the big question. Is this just a temporary scare, or are we looking at a long-term shift in the guitar market? Now, if you can judge how some of these countries like Mexico, very quickly after the threat of a tariff, they came to an agreement and they've held off for a month. So I think everybody's going to want to come to some agreement pretty quickly. But, we don't know. We don't know what, the future holds. Are we looking at a long-term shift in the guitar market? We've seen stuff like this before, and sometimes the panic is worse than the reality. But when you combine rising costs, supply chain issues, and economic shifts, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. So what do you think? Are you buying gear now, waiting it out, or just hoping for the best, dude? Dude, I hope it's going to work out, bro. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think. I know there's going to be people that are pro-tariff, and I know people that are going to light up things politically in the comments. And you know what? This one time, I'm going to let everybody duke it out in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know how it's going to influence your guitar purchases in the future. Thanks for watching.